Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. Coming to you today to show you a really cool deal that I came across on a Headspace comparator set. I just wanted to do a quick video on this. I'm about to prep a ton of brass. You can see here in front of you, I've got some 280 Ackley Improved, some 300 Ruger Compact Magnum, and a whole bunch of 270 Winchester stuff that I'm about to resize and go through my normal brass prep process, which I've shown countless times here on the channel, exactly what I do. It's a super simple process that I like to follow, very repeatable. But before we do that, right before I get into resizing all of this stuff, I wanted to talk about a key piece of equipment or tool or whatever you want to call it that can really benefit you as a reloader, especially if you're new to reloading. And it's one of those pieces of equipment where you're like, I don't really know if I need this. Is this truly a necessity? Whatever, yada, yada, yada. And in my opinion, it is. And that is a Headspace comparator set. And the reason I feel like this is a necessity is most oftentimes, for sure for bolt action rifles, my experience has been if you go by the sizing die instructions that come with any brand of die, like RCBS, Redding, Lee, whatever. If you go by the sizing die instructions that they provide with the die, you know, like a full-length sizing die, and you set that bad boy up and you run your brass in there and you set it up exactly like they tell you to in the instructions, you're going to be oversizing your brass, or not. That's probably the wrong way to categorize it. You're going to be sizing your brass more than you really need to. We'll say it that way. I don't want to say oversizing your brass. It's just you're sizing it more than you really need to. In a bolt action rifle, which is what I primarily load for and own and shoot, you know, you only need a couple of thousandths. You're only needing to push the shoulder back, this part here, maybe a couple of thousandths, just so you can ensure really good function and feeding in the firearm whenever you go to use it in the field. But when you set your die up, this has been my experience, when you set it up per the instructions, I mean, you're pushing your shoulder back 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 thousandths. I've seen that before, where you follow the die setup instructions to the letter, you resize a piece of brass, and you're pushing that shoulder back a long way. Again, not necessarily oversizing, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Based off the instructions, it's sizing it exactly as it's supposed to, but it's just more than you really need, right? So a Headspace comparator set, what's really handy about this guy is you put it on your set of calipers, and you can flip this around however you want to. I don't care what side of the jaws you put this on. But you put this on your calipers, and then you what you want to do is run your piece of brass. Stand by. I just need to get this closed up for demonstration purposes. So I'm doing this one-handed, but you'll get the idea. So what you want to do is get the appropriate size bushing. This is a B350. This is 6.5 Creedmoor. So you'll want to get the appropriate size bushing. That's this guy, the silver guy. And install that into the body of the set, which is the red piece. And then you take a measurement, you zero your calipers whenever I'm doing this two-handed. I just spin the brass around, make sure I'm holding everything as tight as possible. Spin the brass around, zero out my calipers, and then from there, I take that piece of brass, I'll run it up into the sizing die, and then come back and take the same measurement. Now, what you ideally would see is something along the lines of like -1 to 3 thousandths, right? Something along those lines. And every now and then what you might see is like a positive number. Maybe your brass actually gets longer, okay? Well, when that happens, that just means your sizing die isn't screwed down far enough. So you kind of got opposite ends of the spectrum, right? If you set it up per the instructions, you're probably going to be sizing it too much. But then there is also the opposite of that, where you don't have this die screwed down enough, and now you're not sizing the die, the brass actually isn't making it all the way up into the die for the shoulder portion to make contact. So your brass is just lengthening itself. Okay, there's nothing there pushing back against this brass to where it'll prevent it from stretching, right? So that's where you're on your sizing die setup. You want to kind of take your time. There's countless videos on YouTube on how to set this up. I've showed this in the past as well. Really, it's just starting with this sizing die, you know, kind of screwed out of the press just a little bit. Right now, I've got this one set up perfect. It's a cam over deal with the die, and this only pushes the shoulder back a couple thousandths. This is a great setup on this particular die from CH Tool and Die. Shout out to those guys. They make high quality stuff. But you'll want to start with your die backed out a little bit, and then just sort of take measurements. And you want to use a few different pieces of brass. You don't want to just keep resizing the same piece of brass over and over. And you want to slowly make adjustments, you know, tightening this die in to basically get to the number that you want to hit, right? Where it's like negative 2 thousandths, 3 thousandths, whatever the case may be. I don't know, your number could be negative 7 thousandths, whatever. I don't care what it is. It's just, you're not going to know how much you're sizing your brass if you don't have a Headspace comparator set. Now, you don't have to have one. You can set it up per the instructions and simply go by being able to chamber that brass into your rifle again, right? You could resize the brass, double check it in your gun, and if you're able to chamber it no problems, well, there you go, right? Sort of the field check. So you can do that. But these Headspace comparator sets are really, really nice. And what's really interesting about this particular set, okay, so this is a Hornady, all right, and it comes with the body, and then you've got, you know, 5 bushings, standard, that's what it comes with. Well, look at this one. This is very similar. Okay, color is a little bit different on the red, but not by much. Your thumb screw is slightly different. Your set screw is definitely different. The one over here is a little bit beefier. But yeah, this is a super Chi-Com version. Look at this. Gauge body with 5 bushing set with checking most bottlenecks. Made in China. Now, this is an Amazon find, right? Hornady that I bought from, I don't even know where, maybe Midway USA, who knows. Amazon find. If you try to go to Cabela's, we'll just give a for instance, and pick up a Headspace comparator set from Hornady right now, the body and the 5 bushings, $49.99, $50 for this thing. Now, it is a really, really good piece of equipment. I've already explained the reason why. I think it's a necessity, in my opinion. Add it to the list of reloading necessities that you need on your bench. This kit, picked it up on Amazon, $1. $1. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what in the world? I bought 3 of them. So Amazon, apparently they're launching this new, I don't know, section of their app. It was on the Amazon app, and it's a new section up at the top. Whenever I open the app, if you go to the top and look, there's Haul, H-A-U-L. There's a Haul tab. You hit Haul, and apparently it's some new beta portion of the site that they're selling. Like, Amazon already sells cheap junk, right? Well, just picture the Haul portion as like the Dollar Tree version of even the cheap junk. So it's like the cheaper of the cheap. I'm talking about, this is, yeah, it's hilarious when you go on there and look, and it's just like a really discounted portion of, I guess, cheap stuff they sell on Amazon. Well, they have a $1 section, and I think it changes daily what they offer for $1, and you're limited on how many you can buy. You could only buy 3 per customer. Otherwise, I would have bought 100 of these things, right, and just sold them for $10. It's called capitalism. So this thing was $1. And I could only buy 3, so I bought 3 of them. And I did get charged for shipping, $3.75 for shipping. So I paid Paid $6.75 for 3 of these sets. And it's hilarious to me just how, I mean, it's just basically a carbon copy of this guy, right? And so far, it's working really, really well. So I just find it comical. It's pretty hilarious. If this type of stuff offends you, is what it is. Have at it. But if you're looking for a cheaper Headspace comparator set, head over to Amazon. This same set, I went and looked at just the standard Amazon side of the app. I just Googled Headspace comparator, or not Google, but in the search bar, I typed in Headspace comparator set, and this same set pops up. I think the cheapest version of it that I saw was like maybe $16 or $17. So the point is, it's way better than 50. Right? If you're looking to get into reloading, you're trying your best to save a little bit of money and scrape here and there, then this might be a place that you could just go to Amazon, pick up one of these for a fraction of what the Hornady version costs. And so far, it works really, really well, in my opinion. But I just found it to be quite hilarious that, and even on that $1 section, the dollar deals or whatever, I think I was looking at it today, there's like coil packs for Chevy vehicles, carburetors for Polaris 500 four-wheelers. It's for $1. It's comical. It's comical. So just go check it out if that's something you're interested in. But I found that, and I just wanted to kind of share that information. Now, of course, you can't find these on there for $1 again. It's one of those things where the deals just, they're up there for a day, and then when they sell out, they're gone. And I don't know if they'll ever sell them again at that price. But again, I did find this one on just the regular Amazon side of the app for like 15 to 17 bucks, which is still a really good deal. So if you're looking for a Headspace comparator set, this might not be a bad way to go. But that's it. I've got to get to resizing because clearly this is going to take me a long time to get through all of this stuff. I'm going to do the 280 Ackley first, switch over to the 300 Ruger Compact Magnum, and then try to tackle that 270 Winchester stuff. So I'll be using this comparator set just to make sure, which I know all of these full-length resizing dies have already been set up, and measurements have been taken and everything's been validated that these die sets push the shoulder back 1, 2, 3, about 1.5, 2 thousandths on all 3 of these. So I've got these set up and dialed in already, but I'm still just gonna verify and validate using the comparator set. So that's it. That's where we're going to leave it. Just kind of came across this. They showed up in the mail, and I wanted to wait to do the video just to get them in hand to see how cheap they were. They're not bad at all. Pretty comparable to the Hornady set. So that's it. That's where we're going to leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you next time. Y'all have a good one.